This message is literally for every creative out there, whether you're aspiring to be a music artist or, a streamer or just whatever you want to do. I want you to hear this message and hear it very clearly. You do not need them, they need you. And when I say that, one thing that I'm noticing within just the collapse of the industry, y'all have to really look at things from the mindset of when these artists go down, y'all are the next targets. The labels need y'all to make money. You don't need them to make money. Like, just think about it. You are the talent. We are now in a time period where you no longer need them in order to make money, in order to flourish, in order to really show yourself to the world, because we have direct access to our audience via social media versus back in the day, you needed a label to push your stuff. But if you are naturally a person who is just a very likable person, you can attract an audience, you're talented, you do not need the labels. They need you. You are able to reach your audience by yourself and your camera. The label needs you in order to make money, but they're gonna make you feel like, oh, well, we can push you forward in order to basically get you even further to where you wanna go. But if you play the long game, which is always the best route to go because it's just more successful and sustainable long term, basically letting go of the idea of instant gratification. When you take your time to build your foundation and make it sturdy, you will not have to worry about someone blackmailing you or someone basically holding things over your head or, like trying to have control over your money and just your talent and telling you what you can and can't do. Because why do you need someone to control what you're doing? As the glamour effect of Hollywood and just celebrities are falling and people are starting to see like just the negative side of being a celebrity and also being under labels and being under managements and things like that. And I'm not saying like all managements and labels are bad, but we have seen time and time again with proof and people coming out complaining about how labels are taking advantage of them and taking advantage of their likeness and just them as a person. And I'm not to say in no type of way and not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, even though I don't believe in calling myself that, because we are now seeing that conspiracy theorists be telling the truth because we have critical thinking. We are able to see what's actually happening versus I feel like a lot of people really have a hard time accepting what reality is, which I completely understand because it's really dark when you really think about it. But it's like to be a part of the industry is to be puppeteered, and we're noticing that with a lot of celebrities. A lot of them are not happy. A lot of them are not as free as y'all think they are. A lot of them aren't making as much money as y'all think they are because the labels are the ones who are making the money and just giving them a small percentage of it. But as the industry is falling and people are really starting to see things for what it is, people are no longer putting celebrities on the pedestal that they once were. People are no longer just having this idea that celebrities are rich because a lot of them are coming out that they're broke. And one thing that I've noticed is a lot of streamers, YouTubers, independent artists are making way more money than celebrities who are under companies and labels. And I think that's crazy because you would think like an actor is making more money than a YouTuber, but the reality is it's the other way around. And I'm talking about YouTubers who are independent. Like if you're independent, you don't have to answer to anybody versus if you're under a label, you can have a project that you want to drop, but your label is telling you no, you can't do that. Like I've heard of so many artists basically complaining about how they want to drop a song or they want to drop this project, but their label hasn't given them the okay because they want them to go do a TikTok or something like that. And it's like to think about you being a creative and you can't even express yourself the way you want to because you're being controlled by someone above you who is basically milking you for your money, let's be honest. I think that's crazy. And I think it's so important that we the people, especially people who are coming up and really are realizing just the benefits of social media and how they can take advantage of building themselves up and being independent and really, showcasing their art and just, or even just your personality, honestly. You do not need to be signed under anybody. You can do it on your own. We are in a day and age now where you have literally access to the resources. You have access to social media. And again, anything can take you from one point to the next point. Like basically you shouldn't be operating from the mindset of instant gratification of, oh, you know, like I'm just trying to make this quick buck right here, like let me just get this 20K deal real quick, and then, you know, like all of a sudden like I have all this money. When the reality is, you riding out things on your own and you slowly building that momentum and you staying the course will eventually make you so much more money than it would you going through a label who's gonna, for one, probably charge you like a crazy percentage, and they're gonna be benefiting from your talent. I really want y'all to understand, like, if a company wants to sign you, there is a reason why they want to do that. They clearly see something in you that they see as profitable. So you need to automatically have in your mind, like, wait, if they see it because they know in their mind they can basically milk off of you, they can benefit off of you, you're also capable of generating that on your own. What I'm trying to say is you have to be confident in your value. You have to know what you have to offer. And it's not to say that, you know, you're going to automatically always just feel that confidence, because I know it can be scary to do things alone, or you feel like you don't really know what direction to go in, or you feel like you don't know how to really navigate the industry. But I just feel like it's best to take your time and learn as you go, but also just try to gain as much resources and build connections as you can. But when it comes to like signing under a person, I just really don't see why anybody would do that nowadays. Like, you don't need it. All right. Just know that they need you more than you need them. As celebrities are falling and labels still wanting to be on top and making their money, they're now going to leech onto people who are of the normal crowd, which is basically the common public, but people who are coming up and people who are building an audience because of their likeness and because of their skills, their talents. Labels and companies are now going to try to latch onto you because that is going to keep them going. That is going to keep their business going. And they're going to basically profit off of your likeness because you're now going to be seen as the new celebrity, because they understand that the public wants to see people that they resonate more with, which is typically people who are not of that celebrity status. So now they're going to try to latch onto streamers and YouTubers and just independent artists. And I just want to really put this out there, so I hope it reaches whoever it needs to reach. You do not need the labels. You don't need them, they need you. And just know that independent artists are typically making more money than the people who are under companies and who are signed. So just keep that in mind when it comes to just making your decisions. Be confident in your craft and know that you are what people are there for. Your talent and your skills are what people are attracted to. Going to a label, they're gonna leave you feeling depleted, and you don't want to get to a space where it no longer feels like creative for you, because now they're trying to treat you like a milk machine. Like they're trying to treat you like a cow and just get as much milk as they can. All I'm saying is, let's learn from the celebrities' experiences and understand that what we were seeing was not what really was, and let's not get caught up in the traps. You can make your own bread and you can keep your own bread. You don't need to give no percentage to nobody. If you want to be under a management, listen, do what you want to do. But all I'm saying is, you can do it on your own. I promise you. Just don't give up. And also, another thing that I've noticed is when it comes to like the general public versus celebrities, think about it like this. And I know this might not be the best analogy, but I feel like it makes sense if you don't think too hard about it. We, the general public, are like the outside slaves, and celebrities are like the house slaves, and the labels and the people on top are like the master. Celebrities are people who are just given a bit more privilege, but they're still puppets to the master. Like they still are slaves to the master. They just get a little more privileges, but their purpose is literally to fulfill the agenda of the masters, which is the people higher up and the people that we don't even know are there, and they're just given privileges for doing it. And if they step out of line, which we see when they step out of line, they get consequences for it. Hence why we're noticing when it comes to just the media with these celebrities, how just they're being exposed for a whole lot of things. But it's like, let's be honest, y'all knew they was been doing these things because y'all all be doing it. And I'm not saying y'all all, I'm saying allegedly, but a lot of y'all be allegedly into those things. So now that the person has stepped out of line, and now that you feel like they are no longer of use to you, now you're just gonna dispose them. And the reason why I made this video was because after Kai Cenat's last incident with the guy, the magician guy, I just realized that, okay, this guy is very likable, right? I don't know him personally, but I went to high school with him. Like, I've literally been hearing about his growth along these platforms for like over the last few years. And it's really great to see, because it's like, wow, just to see where a person started to where they are now. And it's really just been interesting, but also inspirational to see how your likeness can really get you so far. And even just based off of observation, he seems like a cool, unproblematic person. But one thing that I can't help noticing is that there are people who are, I'm not saying they're trying to sabotage his image, but I feel like people are trying to sabotage his image. And of course, when I say that, I'm also acknowledging that I'm not too sure how he's coming up with these meetings and these like choices of people that he's choosing to interact with on his platform. But one thing that I would say is, I feel like I've been noticing a lot of just like music artists, and I feel like they're using him in order to basically promote their stuff. So kind of like the labels are using him as a source of promotion for just other artists who are basically not really doing so well, but because he's doing well, they're trying to attach onto him. But it's also like the people that he's promoting, if I'm being completely honest, if I were him, I wouldn't attach my image to their image, because their image alone is not the best image, and he has a good reputation. So I personally just feel like if I were him, I would be very just cautious about who he's attaching himself to, especially online. For example, when he had Kodak Black on there and he's popping pills literally on the stream, Kai has a stream full of kids, you know, like it's a lot of young people. So I just feel like, I'm not trying to blame Kai, but it was just very irresponsible for Kodak to even do that. But then it's like, this man doesn't really care about his self-image. That's how he shows up. So I feel like it's important for Kai to vet the people that he's allowing onto the platform. And I get it, you know, like a young kid who you're now doing well. So the celebrities that you probably once idolized, or that you know, you were once excited to meet, you are now in a position to where you can engage with them because they want to be around you. But I just feel like he needs to be really careful about just coming into agreement with a lot of people, you know? Like, I can only imagine what it might feel like to now be able to interact with celebrities because they want to come around you. So it's like you're eager to invite them into your space, but you also have to be really mindful about who you're attaching your image to, because they need you to promote them. You don't need them. You're doing so well by yourself. So basically, don't allow people to come in and corrupt your brand and corrupt your image, because then you're going to be the one to have to basically suffer the consequences and just the judgment of the internet, honestly. And also, when it comes to that magician guy who basically did that stunt on the live, I feel like that was just so irresponsible. But then again, it gives sabotage. Like, that guy knew that what he was doing was not right. Like, he knew that could jeopardize Kai's platform, yet he still did what he did. And I feel like people like that, just because people want to be around you, just because people want to offer you opportunities, or, you know, like create content with you, that doesn't mean that you have to come into agreement with it, because a lot of times you don't know what people's intentions are, and sometimes people can be jealous of you and you might not even know it. You might not even understand why. Whatever agenda that they may have, because you're doing so well, you don't know what vultures are trying to attach themselves to you. So that's basically the point that I'm trying to make. Don't be so eager to come into agreement and to form connections and to have people on your platform. They need you. You don't need them.